To work this morning, I come across this thing at a yard sale. And in between all the other projects that I got going, I am currently working on a right-hand drive Honda Civic. And I've just been working on the video all day and just found out that the majority of the stuff that I uploaded did not work. So I was like, all right, screw it. I'm going to work on this one. So, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I don't know if you've seen these online, but a lot of guys have been modifying these little cars and doing things like lowering them, putting different types of wheels, giving them custom paint jobs, just as something, either if you have like a little kid or something, or if you go like to car shows or car meets, you could put this like right next to your car as like a little show off piece or whatever. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of work on this. I don't have any set plans on what I'm going to do with it. I know I'm going to lower it and work on the interior a little bit. I got a little bit of extra material from the Honda Civic build that I'm doing, so I think it's enough to do the seat that's in here. So yeah, I'm going to do that and then start working on it a little bit at a time, see what I got to do. I have to take off these front wheels. The back wheels just have this solid axle that just kind of pops in to these little areas right here, so you could just pop that off. They are held in place with these little clips, and you can just pry those off. And same thing here, it has those little clips, and I just use a screwdriver to pry off the little clip, and then the whole thing slides out. So my plan is to straighten this out, and so it kind of slides in kind of like that, and then I can cut it and then maybe put another couple of these little guys like that to hold it and stop it from going all the way in, and then cut the rod to the appropriate length, and then put the clip back on to hold it in place. We'll see if that works. So I used my little propane torch and I heated up that metal on the axle, one that looks like this. I took the wheel off by removing the nut right there, and of course took all this stuff off, heated it up on each bend, and now it's straight. So you can slide this back into here and find the other end. Okay, there it is. Find the other end, and now you can see that it is now all the way down. Now I'm going to camber these wheels, so I'm going to put a little stop area right here so I can have a little bit of room behind the wheel to bend the axle. And then of course I'll still have room to put that nut in there. And then all I have to do is cut this right here and then put that nut back on. So do the other side the same way, and then figure out how to do the back wheel. finished front end. This is how it looks. I got to camber this side a little bit more. And I put a little spacer piece of wood underneath to kind of show where I wanted it. And this is a piece of 3/8 inch rod that they use for the axle. Now, if I drill a hole right here, right above where I want it to be, I need the wheel to stick out like this. There's not going to be enough rod. So I went down to the hardware store and picked up a length of 3/8 inch mild steel rod and a couple of other things. I got, let's see, I got some steel spacers and a couple of collars with the locking screw, and some of these push nuts to replace these plastic ones on the ends of the wheel. I went down to the dollar store and I picked up some dog bowls, like these. They're $1 each, but they're too big. I was gonna cut a hole in the wheel and put them kind of inside to give it that a nice chrome effect, I guess. I mean, I could always cut it and do it, but I don't want to go through all that. So I'm just going to go down to like Walmart or something like that and see if I can find some smaller ones. I know they got them because I've seen them before. And they're not very expensive, so I'll grab, 4 of those. So what I got to do now is figure out the length that I need for the wheel, for the rear axle, and then cut that and then bend it the way I need. I got to drill a couple of holes first, though, to make it work, and we'll go ahead and do that now. I got the front axles on, the rear axle on. It just needs a little bit of tweaking before I still want to get those little inserts or bowls or whatever to put in here just to kind of make it look a little nicer. I took off the roof, which is just a couple of screws in the back here, and then the whole thing comes off. And I took off the door. I'm gonna put like a door panel insert, I guess is what it could be called. But all I did was, now right here where this mark is, when you put it up against it, the seat kind of covers up this area. So I had to cut around it, but I made this template, and so that's how the door panel insert is going to be. Then I transferred that template over to a piece of foam, and this is just that stuff you get at Harbor Freight, which is like for flooring, you put on floors and stuff like that. And so this is what I got now. I have some of this material left over here, and I'm going to cover up this piece of foam with some contact adhesive, that type. Oh my god, I can't remember what it's called. Oh, this stuff right here. Contact cement. Well, okay, so I'm going to put the contact cement on here, and then a little bit on top of the cloth or behind the cloth, and then let it dry for a little bit, and then stick it on, and then fold it over. Maybe tack it together with some hot glue or something like that. And there we go. So I just covered it up with the material, glued it on with the contact cement, and then I'll just stick it on to the door panel with either a couple of those push tabs that you use for like door panels, or just hot glue it in place. I don't know, but I think the hot glue would come off eventually. So if I got 4 of those push type prongs with that they use for door panels, if I put one here on the corner up here and maybe one here and one there, I don't know. But that'll hold it in. But I'm not going to do that yet because I want to paint the whole car. I want to paint it, and I also want to do the seat in the bride material as well. And I wanted to cut out some openings here on the front of the grill. And I was thinking, and I don't know if I will end up doing it or not, but I was thinking of putting like an X brace out of like PVC pipe or something like that that goes from here to there and from here to there. But you know, the only thing that I would think that it would be kind of hard to do is since it is PVC pipe, I know they do have like a T-fitting that goes like that, but I'm not sure how it would look. So I'm still undecided on that one. But yeah, I'm still gonna paint it, which means I gotta sand it a little bit and all that. And I still gotta get those dang bowls that go in there. But yeah, there's the door thingy, door panel insert. And after I paint it, I'll reassemble everything. I'm thinking of going, I got this paint here. It's an orange paint. And if I haven't uploaded it yet, you'll see that on the vehicle, on the car that I'm building now, it's going to be orange. So my thinking is I'm going to, you know, fix up this little car, and when I take my car over to like meets or car shows or whatever, I'll park this little guy right next to it, you know, and have it mobbed by all kinds of little kids I'll have to beat up. But no, just kidding. But no, here's the progress so far. Wheels are on, they're cambered, and now this is done. But it's getting late, and I'm going to go home, and I'll finish this another time. So, see you in a bit. So I went down to the local Walmart, and I had found these guys at the Dollar Tree, and I think they're too big. Although I did see a picture online of a guy using this size bowl, and it basically overlaps, you know, the edge. It doesn't look too bad, I guess, but not the look I was going for. So I went down Walmart, got these guys. You can tell they're actually, for being in Walmart, they're a lot thicker metal than the dog bowls. And these, once I cut out the plastic and inset them, they're going to look a lot nicer because it looks like it has a lip, which is pretty cool. And I'll glue them in with a hot glue and then drill a hole so I can run the axle through it. And hopefully that works. Let's see how I cut these out, though. I don't know how I'm going to cut them out yet. So I was trying to figure out how to cut these plastic wheels and measure out the exact size. I wanted to make it a little bit smaller just in case I had to sand it to make it fit perfect. I did find a grinding disc that looks like it leaves a little bit of an edge if I cut it like on the inside of the cut. And then what I'll do is just center this right on the wheel. And then outline it. Then I think I'd have enough space where I could just use a jigsaw to cut it out. And like I say, cut it on the inside of the line. That way I have a little bit of room to work with. Alright, so here are the wheels done. They look a lot nicer. I had thought about cutting some holes just to give it a different look, but I ain't gonna go through all that, so just leave them like that. Alright, next thing. I got the guy outside drying. I've already painted him. And next thing I'm gonna do is, alright, this guy is the roof. And what I wanted to do was put kind of like an X brace across the back like this. Hold on. So I picked up a couple of pieces of PVC pipe from the hardware store. They were like $2 each. And what I plan on doing is cutting a hole through the roof, so this goes in as far as it can go, and then the hole on this side, slide it down and then glue it in place. Now the other one that goes across this way, I'm going to have to cut it and kind of do like an actual roll cage type situation. Cut it here, cut it here, notch it, stick it in, hot glue it or whatever in place, and then do the same thing to the bottom. And when I paint it, I'll just mask it off and paint it black just to kind of give it a nice contrast. So I gotta find a hole saw that's that size. I think it's 3/4 or 1 inch. So you know about when you do a project, whether it be something small to building a car, I would say 80% of the time spent working on this project is looking for the tool that you need. And such is the case. I have every hole saw available that I can find, but I don't have the center drill with the threads that go into the shaft. So got to improvise because I'm not going to go all the way to the hardware store and buy another one. So I just used a 1-inch spade bit, and then just used this drum sanding bit on the drill and drill the hole there, drill the hole there, and then cut PVC pipe. Fits inside there pretty good. This side, I can do this with one hand. Sits in there. And voila. So, that was the easy part. Hard part is doing the part that goes from here to there, from here to there. So I gotta drill another hole here and put the PVC pipe in, cut the PVC pipe, notch it, and then hot glue it in place, and then do the same thing with the other side. Alright, so here we go. There's the first one. And I don't know if you've ever seen the Fabrication Series channel on YouTube, but he does a wonderful tutorial on doing roll cages and how to cut the notches and stuff like that, and doing the notches on PVC pipe to practice is really good, because I am gonna redo the roll cage I have in my Honda Civic right now, and I'm gonna use his pointers and on making the new roll cage, because I am actually going to put an X brace in the back, and it's going to be something similar to this, but out of metal, of course. But you know, but anyways, here is this one on. Next one is one that goes from here down to here, and I'll do the same way. I'll just cut a small piece, drill a hole there, notch it, hot glue it in place, and it'll be ready to go. Alright, next thing is I have the roof all masked off and painted outside drying, so what I need to do is I had covered this in the bride material, but I want to give it kind of like a clean edge around the perimeter of it, and I'll do the same thing with the seat. And all I've got to do is just make like a border, and I'll use the bride material and just cut a strip out of it about that big. So when you're done, you should have something like this. And then start from the bottom. look something like this, I guess. So when you put it on, kind of gives it a more of a finished edge, just like that. Now this little white part that's sticking out, you can either kind of tuck it back in or just get a red marker and mark it off. Alright, so attaching this piece onto the door panel, I went down to the hardware store and picked up these guys. They are door fasteners. They got a little, like a ribbed or textured edge with some teeth on it. So what happens is you drill a hole and then you make it a little bit smaller, you drill it through, and the little teeth kind of grab on to the plastic underneath, and that's what holds it in. I don't like the way these are as big as they are, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand them down just a little bit, so they got a smaller diameter. I'm going to put some hot glue gun, or hot glue, first to hold it down, and then I'm going to put probably one here, there, yeah, maybe one here, one there. Here is the body, and it's all painted. Next thing I got to do on this is make that the seat cushion that goes back here. And again, all I'm going to do is use this stuff, floor, the foam, cut out a piece that's like the same shape here as this, so it follows all these contours, and then I'll cover it in the bride material and then glue it on again, like how I did the door cushion. And here it is, finished with the little buttons. And looks pretty good inside there. And then it'll look even better with the cushion. I took off the steering wheel and the gas filler door cap so I can paint this, paint the body. I'll probably paint the gas cap, since it's white. I'll paint it black. The steering wheel I'll just leave alone. And the roof is still, I gave the roof a second coat of orange paint, and that's outside drying now. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the foam and then put on some red bride material. Here it is, finished and installed. So same procedure as last time with the door panel. Just put on the contact cement on both ends, heat gun it, stick it on, and then make the that border trim. I put the little door fastener pieces on. Drilling it really didn't work to do it, so what I did was I heated up this Allen key with the torch, and then melted it all the way through, and did 4, and then just pushed that through, and it's holding it in really good, so happy about that. So going along with the theme of doing whatever you want to this thing, I went ahead and made this front splitter that goes on the front, and easy enough, I just had some of this ABS plastic that I bought on eBay. It's like it's like a 3/16 inch thick stuff. It's easy to cut. I just used the jigsaw. I just put this on the front, traced it out a little bit bigger, and then cut it out, sanded the edges, rounded them, and then I'll just use some screws on the bottom just to hold it in place. So kind of gives it a different look. And because I didn't want to use the 2 pillar pieces, these guys right here that went inside like that to hold the roof portion on, I decided that I wanted to get rid of those. So I made these little cover plates to cover the holes where they went in, but also that one piece holds the door in. you know, kind of the hinges where it hinges, it holds it in that area. So I had to kind of make a, I don't know, like a bracket, I guess, out of that ABS, and drill a hole and glue it down. I got to get some screws to screw them in, though. I just have some hot glue in there right now, but I got to get some screws, preferably some black ones, because I didn't want any silver ones to hold it down. So just a couple of black ones here and a couple of black ones right there, and that'll hold the door and let it swing in and out and cover up that hole. And now that roof piece is still out there. The paint, I used two different types of paint. I used one that was, it said it was for plastic, and they're both aerosol cans. The one that was said for was plastic, that one dries pretty quick, but I used a different one after because they didn't have the same color or the same brand. But I had something that was close to the same color, so I used that, and that stuff seems to be taking forever to dry. I can't remember what kind it is, but it's, oh, here it is. It's this stuff, the Rust-Oleum Gloss Orange. This one is taking forever to dry, and I shook the can, I made it, you know, but it's been out there for maybe an hour, and it's still not wet. I mean, still not dry, so, I don't know. Hopefully it'll dry pretty soon, that way I can put the top on and start assembling it. So I painted the little gas tank thing black, and all I gotta do is assemble, put the wheels on and put the roof on, and then there's one more thing I want to do for the roof, but I just gotta let it dry. So I'm gonna go ahead and start assembling, putting on the wheels, I guess. So here's the progress so far. I got the wheels on, the front and the rear. The steering wheel I repainted, just flat black, and then this part in the center that was yellow, I painted that black as well. But the horn still works. Painted the gas cap, which was white, painted that flat black. This is a setup on the axles. I just have those locking collars on the inside of the wheel and on the end right here to keep it from sliding back and forth. And then I got those chrome push nuts. Those make it look, I think they make it look a lot better. But it's assembled as far as the bottom part goes. Like I said, I just need a couple of screws for here and on the other side. But the inside's done. There's one more thing I'm going to do, though, on the inside. So I think I got to find a couple of pieces. Hold on. Alright, so this is another interior piece that I'm making. It's going to be a shifter. So this is just a piece of tube that they use like for hooking up faucets and stuff like that. And then here's a piece of PVC pipe that I cut and then just kind of ground the edges to chamfer them, I guess. And then I cut out a piece of foam, and then this will go in there like that, and then I'll hot glue it in place. And then this here will slide in like that, and then I will hot glue all that stuff together and paint it all one color, including my thumb. Alright, the final thing on this project, and that is a spoiler for the back here. This finally looks like it's dried. So I painted the shifter and drilled a hole there and hot glued it in. And I got that little sponge pad just to hold it in place while the glue dries. And now I cut this out of some ABS, just kind of rough measured it. I think it's like 6 inches this way, and I'm gonna heat it up with the heat gun where those little marks are across, and see if I can bend it so it'll conform to the shape of the back window, I guess. So using the heat gun, all you do is heat up both sides until it's soft, and then I just used the PVC pipe and kind of rolled it around the edge right there to conform it to this shape that I wanted in the back window. And you can see that it, it's pretty good. I just gotta put a couple of screws in the back and then finish sanding this back edge. And that gives it a kind of a rear spoiler. Yeah. Alright, so here it goes. It's done. Put the spoiler on. Just put a couple of screws in the bottom. And there is the shifter that I made. And the front splitter. So what will be really cool is when I finish my Honda. Who knows when that will be, but when I do finish it, I can park this right next to it because it's going to be orange as well. It's going to be pumpkin pearl orange off of a 2019 Jeep Rubicon, and that's the color that it's going to be. And of course it has red bride seats that I bought, and the door panels are going to be the inserts are going to have that bride material as well. So there's going to be a lot of similarities on this car or toy to the car that I'm building. But yeah, so all in all, I spent $9 for the car itself at a yard sale. The dog wheel bowls or whatever you want to call them were $1.50 each, so that's $1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $6. And the paint was like $10. I had the red bride material left over from the stuff that I did for my car, and all of the hardware, the little nuts and things like that, I think came out to like about $5. So I mean, for less than $30-$40, you can probably build something similar, and you can get as crazy as you want. I've seen guys do like hot rod style rat rods. They elongate the front end and put the wheels and put a motor, and I've seen some really crazy, in paint jobs you can do whatever you want. Mine was just spray can out of the can that was $10 for a couple of cans of paint. And the only thing about this here is the paint or the plastic doesn't really grab the paint as well, so you can actually see right there where it's rubbing off already. But like I say, this is just a little project. It took me a couple of days to do, and I think it looks pretty cool. So yeah, if you have any questions, just put something down in the comments, and I'll point you in the right direction, and give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't, and like it if you like this video. Thanks, guys.